Hello and welcome to another Game Nexus arcade video. As you can see here, we've got Virtua Fighter on the screen, but more importantly, if you see here, I have the Virtua Fighter arcade control panel with the 2 joysticks, 3 action buttons per player, and of course each player has a start button. Now, the thing I have to kind of make a confession here is over the past days that I've had this panel, I've tried my best to get through the game. I'll probably try a lot more later, but no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't get through this game. So what I ended up doing was connecting my traditional Neo Geo CD controller, and yeah, I did a couple of gameplays, which you will see in my next 2 Game Nexus arcade videos. But no matter what I did, I couldn't get past PyChan with this control panel for some reason. I guess the way that I have to do the joystick and the way I have to do the buttons and movements, I guess I'm just not used to it and my hands aren't articulate enough to do that. But just a quick look at how I have this whole thing laid out here. You'll see there's the Sega Model 1 cage. Sitting on top of it is the soundboard, which you'll see the little lights going across there. That means that the soundboard is receiving data from the main board. I actually have that on the main board with the 2 top screws in order to just keep it as one set, so when I do take this and put it somewhere else, I will just leave that like that, and the sound harness and everything will just stay on it. The rest of the Model 1 harness is kind of here, and that's going up to the control panel. And then of course I have the video converter board here, I have the twisted quarter power supply, and the, HDMI to, the VGA to HDMI, and that's basically how I have this connected. It's not the hardest connection, but let's go ahead and take a look at some Virtua Fighter gameplay. In this video, I'll be playing as Jacky Bryant, which is the 3rd character I've played this game as. So let's get right into this and take a look at some Virtua Fighter. And of course, here's the title screen with the little revolving Sega logo. And you got your same 8-character lineup here. And as I said, this time I'm choosing Jacky Bryant. His movements are very similar to his sister Sarah Bryant, but there are a few moves where he's a little bit slower and he moves a little bit different. So I could easily say, if you're used to playing as Sarah like I am, it's not hard to play as Jacky, but it's not exactly the same, as there are a lot of moves and a lot of speed of moves that I rely on when I would play as Sarah, that Jacky is just a little bit not the same when it comes to a certain move, how fast it goes. And I know you've probably heard me say this way too many times to count now, but this is just one of those games for me that I just think it looks great. I love the artistic style of the graphics, as I say. I think this game should be an art gallery and be an example of something that just has such a style to it. And I know a lot of people will be saying, well, it just looks like that because that's all they could do, but to me it's just something that's just something to behold. The way that the graphics look, I think, is just kind of special, if you will. Sure, it's all they could do at the time, but considering in 1993 this was the first 3D fighting game really ever made, it's one of those things to truly behold, if you ask me, in its original form. And as of making this Virtua Fighter arcade video, I can say that the arcade version in MAME has finally caught up, and you know how I had mentioned in my previous arcade videos where there was that little glitch that caused anything hung on somebody's head, a ponytail or those little ribbony things that are on Kage's mask, to just fall flat on the ground and just be nonsense polygons? Well, earlier this year, I want to say it was around May or April, a version of MAME came out that actually finally fixed that bug, which, from what I can see, it's been a bug in MAME for like a good while, so now Virtua Fighter runs pretty close to arcade perfect. Of course, if you're somebody like me who has played the original arcade game ad nauseum, you're gonna see like differences here and there, but it's one of those things that's so subtle. It, at this point, is kind of good enough that I could highly recommend people try out the arcade version of Virtua Fighter and MAME and not really have to worry about terrible graphic glitching. And personally, this is my preferred version to play of Virtua Fighter. And just to give you a quick background here is that in Europe and Japan, this game was released in October of '93, and then North America, it was released on November 28th of 1993. So this game was released in all regions, and if you have watched my Virtua Fighter 32X and Sega Saturn videos, you'll see I go a bit more in depth about the home versions in that video, because those were more like home version centric. Now, in this gameplay, I actually lost a couple times to some of the earlier characters. I think it was mainly Sarah, and I'm gonna absolutely spoil it, but you'll notice how great the time is right now. Once I get to Akira, that's gonna be completely ruined, because I only had lost to Sarah, and then I seriously lost a lot to Akira Yuki as Jacky. I guess he just doesn't have the same articulation as Sarah does, and I just couldn't defeat Akira. You'll notice it's gone up to 1241 now, so yeah, Akira really beat me a lot as Jacky, but I figured I got through him, it wasn't too bad, but yeah, it was one of those playthroughs I was like, wow, I'm doing so good. But it's kind of one of those things when you're like, oh wow, I'm doing so good, and then as soon as you say that, yeah, the AI is kind of like, I'm gonna like do something about that now. But yeah, then I started doing not so well, and Akira beat me a lot. And this just happened to be a very good run-through with Akira Yuki, my final one with him. And of course, this is the final boss battle that I always dread with Doral, and I know I've said it like just about every time I do a gameplay of this. The first times I played Virtua Fighter, I actually beat Doral with like both Sarah Bryant and Pai-chan, but any other gameplay that I had recorded, well, until the day I played this, I had never beaten her as anybody when I recorded it. And I actually saw that weird glitch where it seems like the camera got stuck in the floor happen a couple times while I was playing it. So maybe it's just a weird glitch that happens, but what I was saying was, until I actually recorded the two gameplays I did this time, I had never actually beaten Doral when I was recording, which really had bothered me because, you know, it's kind of one of those things when it's like when you tell all your friends, oh, well, I could do this really good, and then all your friends look at you, it's like, well, do it now, and then you try to do it, and no matter what you do, you trip over your own 2 feet, and you can't actually do the thing you just claimed you could do. Because, you know, it's the good old-fashioned, I can't do it when somebody's watching, because then you get more nervous, and you're just not able to do it. But the thing about Doral is, like, you'll win a couple rounds and kind of get into a false sense of security and think, oh my god, I'm gonna do it this time, I'm gonna do it this time. And then the game kind of goes like, how about I give you a bunch of nope? And then it's like the AI rubber bands so badly that, yeah, you didn't have a chance. And of course, you may be wondering right now, since I haven't like clearly said it, do I win this time as Doral? Well, you'll see in just a moment here. But the thing I always make mention of is that Doral always looks so, like, skinny in this, and I always think she looks a lot more like a mannequin than in the other versions of the game. And in just, I was gonna say, in just a minute, you're gonna see it, but yeah, this is not the gameplay where I beat Doral. You're gonna have to wait until the next video that, if you're seeing this the day it came out, comes out a couple days after this one, to see me actually beat Doral in a video. Because the funny thing is I was actually going to just release just this video because I wanted to do another Virtua Fighter video. Initially, the idea was with the control panel, but no matter what I did, I couldn't get past Pai-chan with the control panel. And then I just hooked up the controller, played as Jacky. I got through pretty decently, and I was like, why don't I play as Sarah again? And then I finally beat Doral, which you will see in the next Game Nexus arcade video. And as I said, this is a great game. I highly recommend you play it. Right next, you're going to see like how I beat Akira. Well, this has been another Game Nexus arcade video, and I shall see you later. Bye.